Hi, I'm making this video for anyone who, like me, has been doing the Wim Hof method, maybe for quite a while, as I have, many, many months. And for whatever reason, you will have your own reasons. I had my own reasons. But you want to experiment with the idea of changing or swapping, modifying the method to swap out the type of breathing from the very, very active, deep, fully in breathing pattern to something more gentle. And as I said, you may have your own reasons. But what I did was, for my reasons, I experimented and I've been doing this now for many months where I've swapped it out for a much gentler, and you're going to see it, I'm going to demonstrate it for you in a second, breathing method. And to my surprise, what I was not expecting was that even with a much gentler, much more subdued type of breathing pattern, my retention times in the breath hold phase were practically the same. They hadn't changed at all. So for me, that was an affirmation that even though I had made a modification, that I believe I'm getting all of the benefits of the original as strictly prescribed by Wim Hof method. But for my reasons, I'm able to accomplish the same goal with a with something that I am more comfortable with, which is the much more gentle breathing method. So, um, first of all, I would say that this is not a tutorial on how to do the Wim Hof method. I'm speaking to people who've been doing it, so I don't need to, tell you every part of it and how many sets and so on. So, what I'm going to show you is what the modifications are that I made. So it's definitely the breathing. Now, the breathing method, I am going to credit Michelle Diavella of Pushing Beauty with this is where I encountered this breathing pattern for the first time. She is a fantastic breathwork teacher. I'm going to put into the description a link to the very first breathwork meditation using this breathing pattern that I did, which is by Michelle Diavella. And it was so wonderful and so fantastic. I highly recommend that you actually, you know, go click on that link. If you've never done it before, try it. If you're like me, you may find yourself going back to that exact same video and doing it several times. I know I did. So I'm going to show it to you first while I'm sitting up. And it's like this. So the breathing pattern is simply, and it's more of a quick burst, a punch of the breath into two places. The first is the stomach, and the second is up to the heart area, and then let go. That's it. Now, that's doing it sitting up. I'm going to show you lying down like this. Now, when you're lying down, you can obviously more easily just put your hand here and your hand here to have the sensation of feeling the breath go into those parts of the body. But of course, when I'm actually doing it, my hands are just down to the side. But for a beginner, you might get more of a sense of it by putting your hand there. And that's it. So rather than doing the full, fully in, as Wim Hof says, very active, very strong breathing pattern that he does, this is what I've modified it with. Now, because I'm doing this, the other thing that is going to be a modification is he recommends when you're doing the fully in, there's a prescribed number of breaths and then to get onto the second stage, which is the breath hold. So because I'm doing this, I do not have a number of breaths. What I do is I do it by time. So if you want to try this, what I've done is I've downloaded an interval timer from my app store. And so you can do the same. And what you'll see is here, I'll just put it up to the screen so you can see. I made a custom breathwork program for myself where I do the active breathing for 3 minutes. Now I put on here, I have 5 sets, but I usually end up doing only 3 sets, which is, again, as you know, as someone who practices the Wim Hof method, you're aware of that. How many sets you do is really up to you. So I do that type of breathing for 3 minutes. The timer goes off, which tells me, okay, it's time to expel all breath, which I do, and hold, and just be with the present moment, and just let go. Notice any resistance. Just let go of all expectations. Simply notice. And then that phase I have for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So the reason why I picked 2 minutes and 30 seconds is because for me, on average, maybe my first round, my breath hold is around a minute 30, a minute 45. But by the time I get to the third round, that's usually the amount of breath hold time that I get to is about 2 minutes 30 seconds. So that's why I chose that. So sometimes I go even a little bit beyond that. I use the timer completely as it's just a guide. It's a suggestion. It's a guide so that I know where I am in the process. So if my breath hold is only a minute 30 or a minute 45, no problem. I do my big inhalation and hold for 15 seconds, which I count in my mind, and let it out and begin breathing again. Even before the timer has gone off again to tell me, hey, it's time to do active breathing again, I start right away. If my breath hold is longer than 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which happens occasionally, I ignore the timer when it goes off to say, hey, start active breathing again. I just ignore it. And I do everything. So I will steal a little bit of time from the next set. So maybe when I get into my active breathing in the next set, I might actually be only doing the active breathing for 2.5 minutes rather than 3 minutes. I don't care. The timer for me is just a loose guide. So that's the modification. So what I would like to do right now is I'm going to show you an entire session of me doing what I do every single morning when I wake up. An entire Wim Hof session, 3 full sets with 3 minutes of active breathing, 2.5 minutes of breath hold time. And I'm going to be doing it lying down because it's more flattering. When I do it sitting up, and you'll see this even with the lying down one. Now, again, I'm speaking to people who are familiar with the Wim Hof method. So you know that in the breath hold phase, as you get into the latter stages of the breath hold phase, your body starts to react, and there could be twitches and movements that are not very flattering. So that's why I did it lying down rather than sitting up, because it's really funny to see me when I'm sitting up and doing it because my head's flopping around. But it's nothing to be alarmed about, as you know. You're simply noticing. You're simply being with the present moment and allowing your body to do what the body does. So the fact that you're experiencing all these weird movements is not a big deal. But you will see that in the video. The other thing is that I'm doing my example of this in real time. So, if you want to speed up the video, that would be understandable, because watching me breathe like that for 3 minutes straight and then watching me do my breath hold for 2.5 minutes might not be the most exciting use of your time, shall we say. But the reason why I did it in full time is that I thought, well, if you would like to, after you've seen it, you say, "Hey, I want to give that a try." Perhaps you can press play, and you'll hear the beeping of the of my timer, and perhaps if you want, you can do it along with me. So I offer that to you, and I offer all of this just because it's been such a blessing to me, and I find that I'm reaping, if I may say so, even more for my own reasons, even more benefits doing this way because it's more conducive to my mindset with a more gentle breathing technique. So I offer it to you freely, and I hope that if you choose to try it, I hope it works out for you.